Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful individuals you best believe. It's another Reppy of Flickr Online. My name is Eric. Find a little Han Solo on today's Epi as we move on to day 4 action from First Stand 2025. And this was maybe the most hyped day that we've had so far. I know, only 4 days, so not that much to actually go on. But man, we had at least one. We had the best game of the tournament by far, and some surprising results, obviously. First and foremost, we saw that gods can, in fact, bleed, and the level up, the awakening, if you will, from Carmine Corp reached new heights in the matchup against Hanwha Life, and initially it didn't look like there was going to be any life in KC because they had some, really it was just Zeka and Zeus were absolute menaces in this first game. Anytime you let Zeka have Silas, you know it's probably going to be a little bit of an issue. There were a few picks that KC got to kind of slow the Hanwha Life War Machine down, but felt like they were playing a little bit scared, and I would be terrified, not just scared, when you saw the Aurora out of Zeus alongside the Silas from Zeka, because they were absolutely terrorizing the back line, the front line, the support. Nobody could really get anything too substantial going because both solo lanes, I mean, towards the end, they were both 2 to 3K ahead individually in their matchups, but it was, a little less than that from the near beginning of the game. There was not much that could come online, so it looked like you were on a fast path trajectory to yet another 2-0 from Hanwha Life. No excitement, blah, blah, blah. We're on to the next, even though it took 35 minutes for them to close things out. But game 2 is absolutely, hands down, the game of the tournament, and that's even with maybe the first 15 or so minutes looking like we were still on that path to a quick 2-0 out of Hanwha before KC starts finding some of their angles back into this game. And this is by the way, Corky Azir matchup. Of course, that's like a given that a game's going to go north of 40 minutes when you have that Corky Azir matchup. But somehow KC finds not just 1, 2, 3, 4 fights to get back into this game. And even when they're getting 3 for 0s, 4 for 2s, the gold lead is barely getting a dent taken out of it. But it was Flatty finding some Azir shuffles and Kalist cleaning up on this Jhin. He eventually finishes 17 kills, by the way, in this game, the most anyone's had individually so far this tournament. He got a couple of triple kills. His positioning was absolutely fantastic, but even after finding a miracle team fight, one mistake is really all it needs for Hanwha to take back control, and eventually they are pushing 3 inhibs. That's double super minions going. A Nexus turret is already down, but KC finds the tiniest amount of breathing room, just enough to catch a slinking Viper's Ash. Targamas absolutely, there's like a 1 to 2 second window where he can find this pick. He flashes it on the Alistair. They kill Viper. That's enough to get them both the Baron buff and the Elder Dragon and their first gold lead since like 2 minutes into the game. And somehow they're able to close things out, and it's not even in a clean fashion. It's drama right to the very last Nexus hit. It looks like maybe Zeka's going to be able to turn around a pentakill to defend the Nexus. It ends up not coming true because Kalist on, again, a 17 kill Jhin full build was basically not even the 4th shot, just a regular bullet out of Jhin was half healthing the squishies on Hanwha Life, but it ends up being 24 kills to 23. Yes, there's like a 6k gold lead at the end, but Hanwha was in control almost the entire game. The fact that KC, already down 1-0, is able to come back into this game and come away with the W. The voice comps, you heard it. Yike is excited. They're saying we're actually winning this, boys. Only team to take a game off of the LCK champions in this tournament. So you'd think maybe after such an insane performance, they'd ride that momentum into game 3. But really all it did was activate Hanwha Life and turn them away from scrim mode into stage mode, because they were all business. They saw this unbelievable Jhin in the last game, and as Khalees gets to Draven in game 3, they say, we are going to shut this young man down. And boy, did they ever. From camping bushes as he's running back to a lane to making it their main quest in this game to ensure that he never gets a cash in. He got so damn close multiple times, but the solo lanes, yet again, much like game 1, Zeka and Zeus were absolute animals. Everyone on Hanwha was terrifying. There was some insane engages out of the Rel for Delight and Peanuts Wukong, but the solo lanes, there's the play where Zeus is so close to dying, he hops into Rift Herald. That combined with the pool out of Vladimir, this dude was absolutely unkillable, and I really feel like there has, again, Khalees could do nothing because he was so focused. He did 11,000 damage on the Draven in this game. That's less than Yikes Sejuani. That's only 4,000 more than Delight's Rel. So polar opposite from what we got out of game 2 from him, but this was a clear focus from Hanwha to make sure that he did not have as good a game. But these solo lanes, Zeka has been the MVP of the tournament so far, and Zeus has been peak T1 form. I'm going back to 2018 to Rookie and the Shy. This is the last time we've seen solo laners be so dominant on an international stage, and they were doing it domestically as well. But this is an absolute different beast. The 4-letter Z characters, Zeus and Zeka, absolutely take it over. But listen, you got to give full credit to Carmine Corp. There were even a few angles where they were contesting and fighting in this game. It was, an 11k gold lead, and Hanwha Life was very much in control, but they were not playing scared, even though they were at a deficit like they did in that first game. They had the confidence, so full credit to Carmine Corp for, number one, handing Hanwha their first game loss, not series loss, but lost at all at this tournament in the fashion that they did in game 2, and the turnaround from the first 2 series to the last 2 series that we've seen from the champs out of EU have really reinstilled a lot of hope and faith in an entire region. When they looked so down and out, defeated after these first 2 series that they got kind of bopped around. So really impressive bounce back from such a young core, and I've been loving watching a lot of these comms and seeing just the leadership role that Yike has stepped into seamlessly after a couple years under the wings of the veterans of G2, now fully kind of being the captain of this KC lineup, giving the Blue Wall something to cheer about. And really, even though they lost the game, I feel like Hanwha Life just looks absolutely untouchable at this tournament. Even when the best of 5s roll around, sure, they might drop a game. Dare I say even drop a game too? Probably unlikely against any team's form currently at this event, but they look absolutely terrifying. And the synergy that we talked about after the first couple of weeks in the LCK, give this team a little time to implement Zeus into the lineup. Well, he's been implemented, he's been terrifying, and this squad has reached a level already higher than I feel like they did last year when they were LCK champions, and we were talking about them as legit contenders to take home a world championship crown. So very excited to see them going forward, and hopefully this isn't the end for KC, because they have brought nothing but excitement and hope over the last couple of series. Could not be more opposite to how things have changed for Team Liquid since that series win against K-Corp. This was actually the first series of the day, and if I told you there was going to be a Game 3 on the day, 100%, you would have thought the Flying Oyster series against TL would have been the one, not Hanwha versus K-Corp, but this one did not even need a Game 3 because the North American squad was gapped. They had failed dives going on against a Cassante. It's okay, he's a new champion. We haven't seen much out of him, but we saw, we saw Rest cancel both Umpty's Q1 Vi and the ulti with the unstoppable buffer on Cassante. It's like they never played against this champion. That was really bad. Impact gets a carry champion and actually had a pretty good lead on the Gwen against that Cassante despite that failed dive. But Team Liquid just looked lost on the map. how many times do you see in a game and completely not even a skill shot thrown, uncontested Otacon? That's exactly what CFO got in this game, and it was the ruinous one, which obviously we're seeing more and more of since they changed, and then the XP leads just get completely out of control. It's honestly more detrimental than the GA voracious version, because people just ran in, inted with these GAs usually. When you just basically get a free level of XP, that snowballs the game out of control way quicker, and that ended up being the case for this one. There's barely even a contest on the Baron that CFO gets later. It was a rough game for both APA and Umpty, and APA was even on that comfort pick in the Talia, but Honkyu continues to have, even though we had a slow start in this game, continues to be an absolute stud in the mid lane. I know you've heard lots of people talking about him quite a bit, but the bot lane and, I mean, Jan could only do so much in this game. It was a rough one, again, for the mid-jungle duo of Team Liquid, and honestly, things got, I don't want to say worse, bad, ugly for Team Liquid, but it certainly didn't get better in Game 2. Again, it's a carry champion for Impact on the Jax, and Driver subs in, but he ain't playing no tank. He's on that gangplank duty, and he gets one of the ugliest solo kills on Impact, who just completely disrespects him. But the craziest part from this draft is you see Ziggs for Team Liquid, and you see Corki. You go, great, okay, another comfort pick for APA, but Jan is the one playing the Ziggs, which a year ago, you would have said, that's fine. People were playing Corki mid. Nobody was playing Corki bot. But people have been playing a whole bunch of Corki bot this year. It's insane to me. I don't know what angle they were seeing that the Ziggs is better in Jan's hand. And look, he looked fine on the Ziggs. He looked comfortable on it. But APA was basically irrelevant on the Corki in this one. Yone for Honkyu, we know that's a comfortable pick for him, and the bot lane Tristana for Dago was an absolute treat as well. But again, it's just Team Liquid, what happened? I know you heard on the broadcast, Spawn is no longer with the team, had to fly home, isn't there with them. I don't know the full details on that, but if the head coach not being there in person has this big of an impact on the squad, and we've seen the speeches that Spawn has delivered behind the scenes at international events, and even, you know, within the context of the LTA this season, number one, this dude needs a pay raise from Team Liquid, and number two, does Umpty's brain just not work quite as well unless Spawn is there helping and guiding him? Because they look like a totally different team. I don't know if there was some kind of Space Jam scenario that's gone on, like Team Liquid had to sacrifice their souls to get that win against Carmine Corp, because since that head-to-head, the two teams have completely flipped in terms of power level. Team Liquid really not looking good, and I don't want to take this away from the Flying Oysters because, again, we've been highlighting this team, praising them. They legit look like in conversation for the second best team at this event, probably with Carmine Corp over the last couple of series, which is absolutely insane to talk about. But they have been delivering for an entire region, showcasing that we need to stop talking about this Pacific region as a minor region, even though it's mostly LCP squads that have been, dominating, either Talon or now the Flying Oysters. But they have proven time and time again that they can compete with some of the best teams in the world, and more often than not, they can do it better than a triumvirate of North American teams. Case in point, another bad one on the list. At least we don't have a team going winless at this event. That's a round of applause for everybody involved, and we kind of talked about that. We said, hopefully nobody goes winless. Well, we're not going to get that, and now this CFO win has set up the potential for an absolutely insane final day of action in the group stage. It's K-Corp, they're done. All they can do is sit back and watch at 1-3. Obviously, they need a lot of things to go right for them to have a chance to advance. We've got CFO versus Top Esports and Team Liquid versus Hanwha Life on the final day. If CFO's already advanced, they got 2 wins, they're already going to that knockout round. But if CFO wins and Hanwha Life wins, then you have 3 teams that are tied at 1-3. And I believe Team Liquid will be the one that's eliminated because you're looking at a combination of the head-to-heads between those 1 and 3 squads, and Team Liquid has the worst. Despite beating K-Corp, they got 0-2 by Top eSports, so and they needed 3 games against K-Corp, which is the kicker here. So they'd be 2-3 overall. K-Corp gets the win against got 1 win against Team Liquid, 2 on Top eSports, so they're 3-2. TES 2-0 against Team Liquid, lost to K-Corp, they're 2-2. So Team Liquid would be eliminated if that's the case. If CFO wins and Hanwha Life decides to troll big time against Team Liquid, or somehow Team Liquid has a miracle level up, that's not going to be happening, then Top eSports, the LPL squad, would be eliminated because obviously Team Liquid would pick up a win and go to 2-2, and Carmine Corp has that head-to-head against Top eSports and would eliminate them. That is the most amazing timeline, to have an LPL team being the ones getting eliminated. CFO have looked better than TES basically this entire tournament, so I actually think they have the edge in that matchup. It's just a matter of, can Top eSports wake up? All they need to do is read some of these Chinese forums about what will happen to them. If they are the first team eliminated, they might not be welcome back to the LPL for that second split. So obviously a ton of pressure on them. We've come to expect a disappointing result from a North American, sometimes even a European squad at these events. But the LPL being the first and only team eliminated in this first round would be an absolute disaster for them. So there's definitely potential for some drama. Obviously, if Top eSports wins against CFO, then I believe it's basically null and void at that point. It's Carmine Corp that's going to be eliminated, and that you can speak about being an issue with the format in itself, because unless Team Liquid again magically looks amazing against Hanwha Life, it's a bit of a tragedy of format that K-Corp will be the first team eliminated because they clearly look better than TL over the last couple of days, and makes you think, how could you throw in a best of 1 tiebreaker or something to fully realize who's that team that's going to be eliminated, because it seems